Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It is a pivotal time for the global economy and for Korea as well. Let me start with your most recent monetary policy decision a couple days ago. You left rates unchanged at 2.75%. Can I ask you, what was the reasoning, the rationale behind that?
The key word for our decision is uncertainty. Definitely because the trade tensions are intensifying, we have definitely headwinds. Downside risk has increased in terms of our growth. But if you look at the financial market, FX volatility increase, and also we do not know which direction the trade policy will move on. So for us, it's very hard at this moment even to pin down what will be our baseline for our next economic growth forecast. So given these uncertainties, we decide it's better to hold the rate and see and examine the new data coming. And then decide to move. If I make an analogy, now we are feeling like we are entering into a dark tunnel, and then in that case, it's better to slow down a little bit, and then until the eye adapt. So that was a major reason for this decision.
As you're currently finding yourselves in that dark tunnel, can I ask you, what's the value of waiting? Why isn't there a case for a preemptive cut?
Yeah, because as I mentioned, it's a lot of uncertainty. Especially we are concerned the recently dollar strength is a little bit weakened, but we never know which direction we will go. And as you know that we recently suffered from unexpected political instability after the martial law declaration of the former president in last December. After that, our currency has depreciated quite significantly. And now, it's improved quite a lot. But on the other hand, given the unnecessary depreciation of currency, we are very mindful of the financial market stability implication of FX market volatility. That is why we decide to hold the rate and see how this financial market volatility will go.
That makes a lot of sense. Can I ask you more broadly the impact of the imposition of martial law in December and the ensuing uncertainty? What effect has that had on the Korean consumer and businesses?
Definitely, because of political instability, consumption and investment sentiment was low, and that will definitely affect our growth in the fourth quarter. The number will come tomorrow, so we'll see how big the impact is. But luckily, after the upholding of the impeachment by the Constitutional Court, and we will have an incoming presidential election in June 3rd. We really hope that that will help to settle these uncertainties behind us, and we'll see how much our sentiments, economic sentiment, consumption, investment will recover. We have to see it.
So that's the hope for the second half of this year to be a lot more stable in terms of the domestic political picture, but it remains to be seen, of course, what happens on the trade front.
Yeah, actually, that's what I say. After last December, domestic uncertainty has been unexceptionally high compared with other countries. Now it's been settling down. On the other hand, we are seeing the rising uncertainty in a global market.
And let's talk about that, because currently this week, the top Korean trade official is here in Washington to hammer out a potential deal. Of course, Japan, Korea, you want to be on the forefront of some of the deals with the U.S., and hopefully they will come to fruition. In the meantime, can I ask you, if tariffs do go ahead, and there are still some tariffs in place right now that are hurting the electronics industry, the auto industry, what would that mean for the Korean economy?
You know, I think Korea by nature, we are a very export-oriented economy. So this trade tension definitely is a large headwinds. So my point is that we will be affected directly by the U.S. tariff, but also indirectly to their tariff to other countries. For example, the semiconductor production in Vietnam, car and electronics production in Mexico, and our battery production in Canada will be affected. So, definitely we have to be prepared for that. But we have also some strengths to cope with this problem because luckily, or I shouldn't say luckily, but we have been diversifying our supply chain. Especially we diversifying our supply chain from China. from the last 5 years because of the rising competitiveness in China, and there are several political issues with China too. So in some sense, compared with our competitors, Korea companies is kind of in advance vaccinated and was kind of preparing for the supply chain diversification from a couple of years earlier than this trade tension happens. So we hope that we can adjust it. But more importantly, I really hope this trade tension will dissipate because it's bad for everybody.
Mm-hmm. You talked about the early diversification on part of the Korean economy. I assume under the current, with the current headwinds, that will only intensify going further. The Korean economy is looking for even more and deeper trade partnerships with other countries?
Yes, what I mean is that we didn't want to, but we had to diversify our supply chain because usually we produce our intermediate good in China and then we export it to US and other European countries. But there is in the last decade, Chinese competitiveness in various intermediate good sectors, even final good sectors, increased significantly. That naturally force us Korean companies to find the alternative destination of intermediate good production, and also to diversify our export targets. So with this, whether the trade tension intensified or not, this is a kind of natural movement to diversify our supply chain and also move up to the value chain. So that will continue. But at the same time, the recent trade tension will probably expedite that speed.
Mm-hmm. And what does all of this mean for growth? Your most recent growth outlook stands for 1.5% for this year. You're coming out with a new outlook in the month of May. The IMF cut your outlook to 1%. Are you going to be closer to the IMF forecast number as well?
No. First of all, I think you asked $1 million question. To us, I think this big headache is that IMF actually, you see that their report made 3 scenarios. They call the medium, they call the reference scenario rather than a baseline scenario. Mm-hmm. The main reason they mention reference scenario is that they don't know how the world will change. So for us, I think we have to make our new forecast in next month. But at this moment, if you ask me, I don't know what kind of trade tension scenarios we have to assume as a baseline or reference scenarios. My minister, finance minister and trade minister will have a talk with the US tomorrow. I may have a little bit better idea after that. But at this kind of uncertainty, it's very hard to see what will be the impact. So I will refrain from guessing what will be our new focus at this moment. So depending on how the trade tension will intensify or be lessened, and also we have to look at how our Minister of Finance will react to it through the fiscal stimulus. And with that kind of whole information, we probably will decide our next move. Yeah.